Right now, we are stepping straight into one of the most unhinged 24 hours the rap world has served us in a long, long time, because in a world where most people are more focused on chasing headlines than actually shaping culture, four of the biggest women in music just collided in a chain reaction so loud, so messy, and so revealing that the internet has not been able to catch its breath since last night. And before we go any further into this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell. It genuinely helps push these breakdowns out to more people who need them. Because what is happening right now with Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Young Miami, and India Ari is not a normal week of gossip. This is a full-blown cultural pileup. This is a full generation of black women in music, in the same 24-hour window, dragging each other's names into the spotlight in ways nobody saw coming. And when I tell you the receipts, the screenshots, the White House footage, and the Shady likes are all lined up perfectly for us to break down, I mean it. Every single piece of this puzzle changes the story you thought you were watching. So let's rewind and get straight into what actually happened, because the first domino is the one nobody expected. Nicki Minaj walked into the White House. Yes, that Nicki Minaj. The same one who has spent the last 2 decades being the loudest voice in female rap. The same one whose fanbase, the Barbs, will run through concrete for her. She rolled up to the Rose Garden luncheon and sat in the room as the President of the United States, Donald Trump, gave her a public shout-out in front of the entire country. And it was not a casual shout-out either. Trump stood at that podium and said she is a woman that is respected by everybody, that she is so hot, so great, a fantastic person, a woman with real talent. Those were his words about Nicki Minaj, in the Rose Garden, on camera, while she stood right there and watched. Now think about the weight of that moment for a second. Because she is not just a rapper. She is a cultural nuclear reactor. Every move Nicki makes ripples through hip-hop, through pop, through Black Twitter, through the entire industry. And when she shows up at a Trump White House event, in the middle of the most politically divided moment of our lifetime, and Trump himself pulls her name out mid-speech and pours praise on her like she is one of his favorite people in the country, that is not a moment that just fades. That is a moment that shifts the conversation for weeks. And whether you love her, hate her, or have been sitting on the fence about her since the beef with Cardi kicked off years ago, you had to take a seat and process what you just watched. But here is where it gets crazy, because that Rose Garden moment was only the beginning. After the White House appearance, Nicki Minaj did what she does. She hopped on TikTok Live to talk directly to her audience, no filter, no PR handler, just her on camera doing what she has always done best, talking to the Barbs face to face. And that is when the whole internet lost its mind. Because during that live, a comment popped up from a page carrying the name Cardi B. Let me repeat that. On her own live stream, right after the White House moment, a Cardi B account was allegedly seen in the comments dropping bubbles. Sending bubbles. Watching her. Screen recordings started flying across every gossip page in the country within minutes. Now, before y'all start typing in the comments, let me slow this down, because the details matter here. The name in the comments said Cardi B. But there was no blue check next to it. And the real Cardi B TikTok is verified. So immediately half the internet said this had to be a fan account, some stan page cosplaying as the queen herself, because if the actual Cardi B commented on that live, that verification tick would have shown up. Case closed, right? Not so fast. Because the other half of the internet is dragging up receipts from years back, reminding everyone that Cardi B has, allegedly, been caught watching Nicki's lives before. That the accusation of Cardi secretly consuming every piece of Nicki content that drops is one of the oldest rumors in the beef. And when you stack that history on top of last night's screenshots, it becomes almost impossible not to wonder what the truth actually is. Was that really Cardi B in the comments? Or was it a fan page baiting the internet for engagement? And why did it explode this fast? Hold that thought, because Cardi is about to answer that question herself in the most Cardi way possible. Now let me pivot for a second, because while all of this Cardi and Nicki chaos was unfolding, another storm was building in a completely different corner of the culture. And that storm has a name, and that name is Spin It. Yes, the Young Miami record everybody is arguing about. Young Miami dropped Spin It, and Spin It is doing exactly what a summer anthem does. The beat is sticky. The hook is chantable. Everybody on TikTok is dancing to it. Every club in Atlanta, Miami, and New York is spinning it back to back. Young Miami is on stage at the BET Awards, and the second she walks out to present, the crowd erupts and starts singing "Spin It" back at her like it is a national anthem. That is the level of traction the record built in a matter of weeks. But then India Arie logged on. Yes, that India Arie. The one who gave us Brown Skin. The one who gave us Video, who gave us Ready for Love, who gave us I Am Not My Hair. She hopped online and spoke on Spin It, and the internet has not been the same since. India basically said the mass acceptance of a song like this is a sign of a much bigger cultural problem. She said everything you watch, listen to, or consume shapes you. She said she spent her entire adult life caring too much, and she finally realized not everybody wants to be free. She said the message inside the record, lyrics about scamming, stealing, and getting money the fast way, is not the message we should be singing back to ourselves as a culture. She did not call for a boycott. She did not tell anyone what to do. India Arie simply said, from her whole heart, that music has power, and that pretending it doesn't is a lie we tell ourselves to keep enjoying the party. And of course, the second she spoke, the entire internet lost its mind again. But here is where it gets really messy, because Young Miami saw all of that. She read every headline. She saw the takes. And she went and did something that a lot of people are now calling a full shot at India. She reposted a Monica moment where Monica shouted her out, and she said, "And I want you to hear this carefully, that is what an OG looks like." She thanked Monica for celebrating her wins, for embracing her, for pouring into her, and for showing what real sisterhood, real black excellence, looks like. And the internet immediately clocked it. Because when she said that is what an OG looks like, when she said Monica is a real icon, a real legend, one of the ones actually supporting the girls, everybody on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram read it as a direct, unmistakable jab at India Arie. She never had to say her name. She never had to tag her. Young Miami just praised Monica in a way that painted the picture of what a supportive OG is supposed to look like, and by doing that, she quietly told the world that India, in her opinion, is not it. And now we have a full-blown generational war between the empowerment era of black women's music and the Spin It era of black women's music. And it is far from over. But wait, because while all of that is boiling, Cardi B decided she was not about to let a single news cycle pass without her name being in it too. And this is the part that has everybody on the timeline holding their heads. A fan account on Twitter posted a screenshot with a screen recording as proof, because we all know receipts do not lie, and in that recording you can clearly see her pressing the like button on a tweet that read, "Not gagging over Cardi or Nicki, both are chops, same day." Let me repeat that. Cardi liked a tweet that called both her and Nicki Minaj chops. She liked a tweet that was dragging her own name and Nicki's name in the same breath. And the internet said, wait a minute, why? Why would she want her name tied to Nicki right now? Why would she co-sign a tweet that trashes her too? Why on earth, after the beef between these two has already gone to places most beefs never survive, would Cardi B, of all people, co-sign a post like that? Now I want to be honest with y'all about something, because I do not want to sit here and pretend I agree with where Nicki Minaj was yesterday. I do not agree with the room she chose to be in. I do not agree with the political figures she chose to stand next to. That is not the point of this breakdown. But calling her a chop for it? Calling her a chop when she is one of the highest-selling female rappers of all time, with the streaming numbers, the sold-out arenas, the plaques, and the cultural footprint to back up every single syllable? No. We are not doing that. She is not a chop. You can disagree with her all day. You can be disappointed in her. But the receipts of that career do not let you call her a chop, and that goes for Cardi too. So the fact that Cardi, of all people, liked that tweet is what has the entire internet stuck. Because you had to sit and ask, is she really that pressed? Is she really that eager to get her hand caught in the cookie jar again? Because this is not the first time we have caught her liking a shady post about her rival. This is a pattern. And patterns tell a story. Now here is what I think is really going on, and hear me out, because the timeline matters. Nicki is in a completely different bag right now. She has entered what a lot of us are calling her paying people dust era. Jay-Z dissed her. She did not blink. The Barbs went to war on her behalf, but the Queen herself never even lifted a finger to respond. And now with the White House moment, she is operating on a totally different frequency than the one Cardi is dialed into. So when you see Cardi out here liking petty tweets about her, and she is nowhere to be found in the timeline reacting, you start to get the picture. One of these women is fighting a war the other one already walked away from. And that is what makes this whole moment so heavy. Because this beef has evolved. It is not two rappers throwing bars anymore. It is one rapper still swinging while the other one is at a Rose Garden luncheon getting called a fantastic person by the President of the United States. Whether you like that or not, that is the visual we all watched last night. And listen, I have to say this because it needs to be said. Female rap beef is exhausting. We are tired. The culture is tired. Every time we finally get a moment where multiple women in rap can eat, can shine, can share stages, can share songs, can share magazine covers, somebody has to sabotage it. Somebody has to like the shady tweet. Somebody has to drop the vague post. Somebody has to plant the seed. And right now, with Cardi already dealing with her own situation involving Lotto, with her in the middle of an album rollout, with her managing her personal life in front of millions of people, why on earth is this the hill she wants to keep dying on? Why is her rival still living rent-free? Because make no mistake, the second she liked that tweet, the second she put her fingerprint on that post, the internet knew Nicki was still occupying real estate in her head. And that, more than anything else in this story, is what people are actually laughing about today. But let me not act like I am siding with anybody here, because the India Arie vs Young Miami side of this saga is just as layered. Let me play devil's advocate for a second, because there are two very real camps forming right now. On one side, you have the empowerment camp, which is saying music has always been the mirror of the culture, that when everybody in every club, every car, every TikTok, every barbershop is singing lyrics about scamming, boosting, and stealing, that is not a harmless summer anthem, that is programming. Repetition is programming. And when the youngest generation of black women grows up hearing that this is the sound of success, that is what she is warning about. She is not saying delete the song. She is not saying arrest Young Miami. She is saying pay attention to what you are absorbing, because what you absorb becomes what you become. On the other side, you have the everyday listener camp, and their argument is just as loud. Their argument is, India, we love you, we grew up on brown skin, we cry to Ready for Love, but sometimes a song is just a song. Sometimes people just want to shake something in the club and go home. Sometimes people can sing Where All My Scamming People At without ever scamming anyone. Sometimes people can enjoy Spin It, respect the record, and still be college-educated, business-owning, tax-paying, thriving black women. That is the other side. And both sides are making real points. This is not one of those debates where one side is right and one side is wrong. This is one of those debates where the culture itself is being forced to look in the mirror and answer a question it has been avoiding for a long, long time. What are we celebrating? And why? And that is why the Monica moment lands so hard. Because in the middle of a real conversation about what music is teaching the next generation, Young Miami chose to imply that India, one of the most decorated black women in music, is not embracing the girls. That is a heavy claim to make. Because this is the same India who built her entire discography telling black women they are beautiful, that they are worthy, that their brown skin, their hair, their softness, their truth is enough. She was pouring into black women in ways the JTN Miami generation is only just starting to think about. So the idea that India Arie, of all people, is somehow the villain of this story because she critiqued a song about scamming, that is where the framing breaks down. And a lot of people are noticing. Now let me tie the whole thing back together, because everything I just told you connects. This is why this cycle is different from every other female rap news cycle we have watched. In one day, Nicki Minaj went to the White House and got publicly praised by the president. In one day, a mystery Cardi account was allegedly caught watching her live. In one day, Cardi B was caught liking a tweet trashing both herself and her rival. In one day, India Arie challenged the culture's love affair with Spin It. And in one day, Young Miami quietly threw what sounded a lot like a Monica-shaped rock at the elder's window. 4 different fires. 4 different women. 4 different generations of black music. All burning at the same time. And the story underneath all of it is the same story. Who gets to be an icon? Who gets to define the era? Who gets to say what black women's music is and is not supposed to sound like? Because when the Barb Queen shows up at the White House and gets called hot, respected, and talented by the sitting president, that is a statement about who she is now versus who she used to be. When Cardi B allegedly gets caught watching that live and then likes a tweet trashing them both, that is a statement about how much space her rival still occupies in her mind. When India critiques Spin It, that is a statement about whether black women's music is going to grow up or lean deeper into the party. And when Young Miami claps back by pedestalizing Monica, that is a statement about which OGs she wants standing behind her and which OGs she is fine leaving out in the cold. Every single one of these women is saying something. And you have to zoom out to hear the full song. Now I want to be crystal clear about something, because I know somebody in the comments is going to try to spin this. I am not calling India a hater. She is not hating on anybody. She is doing what she has always done, using her voice, from her lane, in her way, to speak on what she believes is right. She never asked anyone to boycott Young Miami. She never asked anyone to stop streaming Spin It. She simply said the mass acceptance of a specific message deserves a conversation. And that is a fair thing to say. Anybody can disagree with her without pretending she is on some jealousy time. Come on now. She has multiple Grammys. She has a legacy older than half of the people writing think pieces about her right now. She is not competing with anyone. She is critiquing culture. There is a difference. And the internet needs to remember that difference before we drag one of the last real ones we have. At the same time, and this is the part one have to be honest about, Young Miami is not the villain either. She made a record. That record is doing what records are supposed to do. She is not the reason people scam. She is not the reason people boost. She is a rapper putting out music in the lane she has always been in. If your daughter starts scamming because she heard Spin It, that is a parenting conversation, not a Young Miami conversation. But when she turns around and implies that women like India Ari are not embracing the girls, that is where she loses the room. Because India has been embracing black women since before Young Miami had a record deal. India has been building black girls up in her music for over 20 years. So the JTN Miami era cannot cosplay as the only women doing the work when a whole generation of us grew up on India's discography. That is the part Miami has to reckon with. And Cardi, we have to talk. Because she is genuinely one of the most talented rappers of her generation. Cardi B changed the game. Cardi made history at the Grammys. She has hit records. She has undeniable star power. So why does she keep letting her rival live rent-free in her timeline? Why does she keep taking the bait? Why does she keep liking the tweet, screenshotting the post, replying to the fan page? She does not need to do this. She has already won so many of her own rounds. But every time she engages, every time she lets a Nicki headline pull her back into the pit, she tells the internet the same thing, her rival is still on her mind. And that is the exact narrative she should want to bury. Because the Barb Queen sure is not out here liking tweets about Cardi. She is at a Rose Garden luncheon. Whether you like it or not, she is moving on a different level. And that is the thing about Nicki. She is playing a game a lot of people in the culture do not even realize is being played. She knows exactly what the White House shout-out does for her brand. She knows exactly what jumping on TikTok live right after does for the Barbs. She knows exactly what silence does to Cardi, to Jay-Z, to every other rapper still throwing rocks. She is not reacting anymore. She is orchestrating. And whether that orchestration is good, bad, calculated, or reckless, it is undeniably working. She is trending every single day. She is on every timeline. She is at the center of every conversation. And she is not even lifting a pen to make it happen. That is called paying dust, and this queen is a master of the craft. So where does this leave the culture? Where does this leave us, the fans, the listeners, the people who actually stream this music and buy these tickets and defend these women in every group chat and every comment section? It leaves us at a crossroads. Because we can keep pitting Cardi against Nicki forever. We can keep pretending India Ari is hating on Young Miami. We can keep watching four black women in music fight, subtweet, and side-eye each other while the labels, the streamers, and the platforms sit in the background collecting every dollar off the drama. Or we can zoom out. We can hear the elder. We can enjoy the anthem. We can respect the underdog. We can acknowledge the queen. And we can start asking why the culture only lets one of them win at a time. Because at the end of the day, all four of these women are pieces of a much bigger conversation. The Barb Queen represents the icon who refuses to be dethroned, no matter what room she has to walk into to prove it. Bardi represents the underdog who fought her way up and is still fighting even when the fight is no longer worth it. Young Miami represents the new generation, unbothered, unapologetic, and unwilling to be lectured. And India represents the conscience, the elder in the room, the one still asking the questions nobody else wants to ask. And you cannot cancel any one of them without losing an important part of the picture. This story is not really about Cardi versus Nicki. This story is not really about Young Miami versus India. This story is about what happens when black women's music is powerful enough to shake the White House, shake the timeline, shake the culture, and shake itself, all in the same 24 hours. And that is why this moment matters. That is why this is not just gossip. That is why we are still talking about it today, and we will still be talking about it next week. Because when the queen walks into the Rose Garden, when Bardi taps a like button, when Miami reposts a Monica shoutout, when the elder types out a Threads post, all four of them are shaping how this era is going to be remembered. And whether we like the direction it is going or not, we are all watching it happen in real time. So let me hand it to you, because I want to hear from you on this one directly. Do you think that was really Bardi in that TikTok live, or was that a fan account playing us all? Do you think she knew what she was doing when she liked that tweet, or was that a slip of the thumb? Do you agree with India Aries' critique of Spin It, or do you think she should have kept it to herself? Do you think Young Miami was actually being shady toward the elder with that Monica repost, or was it just her showing love to Monica and the internet reached? Drop your honest take in the comments, because this is exactly the kind of conversation the culture actually needs to have out loud. And I promise you, I read every single one. If you made it this far, listen, subscribe, tap the like button, hit the bell. It genuinely helps push these breakdowns to more people, and more importantly, it lets me keep giving you the full context whenever moments like these blow up. Because in a world where every gossip page is chasing clicks with half the story, we are here putting the full puzzle together, piece by piece, name by name, tweet by tweet. This chapter is not closed. The Barb Queen is still moving. Bardi is still liking things she should not be liking. Young Miami is still eating off Spin It. India Arie is still standing on her word. And we are still watching. And listen, if you are ready for the next layer of this story, because trust me, there is a next layer, there is another situation brewing right now that ties directly into everything we just talked about, and it involves a name that most people are not even connecting yet. You are not going to want to miss that one. So go ahead, check the suggested video right now, and let's keep the conversation rolling. Because the story of these four queens is far from over. It is only just getting started.